gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good morning, CaneSport. It's February the 2nd, 2024. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, as we discuss the news of the day. And today, the news of the day is that we have finally gotten there. After 30 days of our 30 for 30 series, counting down the top 30 Miami Hurricanes with 30 or more reps of experience, we have reached the number one spot. We've gone from Samson Okinola to Marquise Williams to Josh Horton to Savion Riley to Jay Allen to Riley Williams to Emery Williams to J.S. Richard to Ray Joseph to Elisha Arroyo to Wesley Bassane to Matthew McCoy to Daryl Porter to Henry Parrish to Nigel E. Kelly to C.J. Clark. I'm shaking my head because now I'm down to the 14th, and we still haven't reached the guy that we could say has made a major contribution to the team and is a surefire frontline, potentially impact player. Number 13, Damari Brown, Dylan Joyce, Zach Carpenter, oh my goodness, Inez Cooper, Mark Fletcher, Jacoby George, Francis Maigoa, Jalen Rivers, Akeem Messidor, Xavier Restrepo, and Andy Borregales. My God, Matt Shodell, anybody that wants to have an argument with me that the Miami Hurricanes roster needs some dudes to step up this spring, it needs some guys to prove that they are impact performers, only has to listen to that top 30 list. But today we are at the number one spot. And who have we put there? We have put a guy coming off his freshman season in Ruben Bane. And I'm going to get people mad right now because I felt that towards the end of last year, and I know at times he was double teamed, I thought Ruben Bane hit a little bit of a freshman wall. I think he will be a much better football player in 2024. He'll be better conditioned. He's been through the college football, understands the game better. I think he'll be better in 2024 than he was in 23. But we had him at number one. Okay, a guy coming out of his freshman year, we had him at number one, and then Miami landed Cam Ward, who many felt was the top quarterback in the transfer portal. We decided to make it a tie. Get excited, Canes fans. You got Cam Ward, you got on offense, you got Ruben Bane on defense. We got Matt Shodell right here in front of us. Talk to us, Matt. How fired up are you about that fact that we have these two dudes at our number one spot as we hit the final day of the CaneSport 30 for 30?
I'm very fired up, yeah.
I knew it. Of course. I'm fired up.
Shame, Ferman, shame.
I'm just being honest, and it is crazy to me that that we do not have on this roster proven guys yet, and guys that potentially could be that keep leaving early.
I was trying to say shame on you for not including Ja'Cory Brown on the list, but I probably thought I saw something else. So listen, the truth be told, we started this list and 30 days ago, and if you do the math, 30 days ago, Cam Ward was not a Hurricane. So that's how we wound up with a tie at number one. That's the truth. We would have probably just kicked somebody I guess we'd have to kick off Samson Okinola at number 30. But somebody would have to kick off. It's pretty weak to have co-number ones. You don't name co-champions.
There's no choice.
Right, we don't have a choice. You go back and retroactively say, sorry, Samson, you're off the list because now Cam Ward committed and we already started our 30 for 30 list. Sorry. So we had to do co-number ones because certainly Cam Ward's not number two. In reality, if we had to choose, if we had to say, okay, if we had to redo it right now, and we actually have to name a number one, which we would have done, I think I actually would have put Ruben Bane number one. I really would have ahead of Cam Ward. Mainly because we know what Ruben Bane can do at Miami, and we're not quite sure yet what Cam Ward can do at Miami. You look at the Heisman odds, Cam Ward's not that much different right now than where Tyler Van Dyke was before last season. I couldn't believe it when I saw the odds. Will Howard
ruined my good mood.
Will Howard is a top 5 or 6 guy ahead of the guy Miami took over Will Howard.
I woke up so happy this morning.
No, don't talk to me. Don't listen to me. I'm never going to make you happy. I'm going to tell the truth. The truth is never good for people who just want to hear good things. That's not how the truth works, you know. The truth is numbers. Truth is facts, of which I have none. I have no numbers. I have no facts to back up my belief. But my belief is a guy who's already done it at the school, knows the system, is probably going to make a bigger jump in year 2 than a guy who's first coming in and has to learn everything. I'm not going to anoint that guy ahead of the guy I already know what he's going to do. Like, Ruben Bane's going to be pushing 10 sacks next year if he stays healthy. He's going to be pushing 20 tackles for loss next year if he stays healthy. He's going to be all ACC first team if he stays healthy. I can't say the same about Cam Ward right now for sure. So that's why I would put Ruben at number 1. Who you put number 1?
Cam Ward. I mean, listen, I
fans. You want people to be happy.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. So somebody asked me, I'm going to ask you this question because somebody asked me.
God forbid you show love to a defensive player. Like, God forbid.
No, man. I listen. I love Ruben Bane. I love his freshman season. I think he's great.
He was getting double and triple teamed, and he was a freshman. Of course, he wears down a little as the year goes on.
I know. I agree.
Year 2. But, he's in the strength program a whole year. He was in the strength program for a few months.
I agree totally, and I can't wait to see what he looks like this year, having gone through a full year of a major college strength program. I mean, I think that the sky's the limit. I'm not sure that he's really a defensive end. I personally think he's going to be a tackle, and I think here I go again wanting to change people's positions. No, but I'm telling you,
tackle who played end. He just haven't grown into it yet. That's all it is.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, Ruben Bane is not going to be a defensive end in the NFL. He is going to be a tackle. Okay, that's just my opinion for sure. And but very good player coming off his freshman year. But Cam Ward is a franchise guy potentially. The onus is on Miami to surround them with enough talent. I think they still have a little work to do in that regard in the transfer portal in the spring. I think they need 1 or 2 more pieces to bring in here for Cam Ward, particularly a number 1 receiver. I think they got to get these tight ends back in the offense. Just can't not have it go the way that it went last season. But look, I mean, there were no other choices if you're talking about the number 1 player on this team right now.
I just told you another choice.
Yeah, no, there was no choice, and I just we go through these exercises to hopefully create content that enhances your guys' fan experience and makes you understand your team better. But when for many, many years now, when we've been doing this stuff, I mean, it's a little disheartening, quite honestly, because that's when you really, 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 during the season, we get caught up in the games and everything, but it's at the off season when we can really look at things analytically. And it's disheartening that still, and remember, you have one of the best recruiters in the country as your head coach, and you've got young guys that he's recruited that were very highly regarded. You just had, a top 5 recruiting class yet again. But these are young kids coming into the program. They're going to need development time. And the onus is on the coaching staff to develop those guys and turn them into the players that everybody thinks they can be, which is why the recruiting classes were ranked high. But as we sit here today, proven talent on either side of the ball, Matt. I mean, the Canes don't really have it in terms of elite level talent, and hopefully here in spring practice, some of that starts to flash a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like once you get past probably Dylan Joyce at number 12, you're just talking about a lot of questionable, will they be great or will they be average guys? Damari Brown, Elijah Alston, the transfer who came in, who probably will come off the bench but be really good. Isaiah Horton, CJ Clark coming in as a transfer. Nigel Kelly struggled before he got hurt. Henry Parrish is a average to above average back, not elite. They keep going down the list from there. So to me, you're looking, and I think Dylan Joyce is pretty darn good. So to me, you're looking at 12 pretty good guys, which basically is half your team. And you need a whole team of good guys. Last I checked, to be a really, really good team, you need the whole team to be really good, not just half of it. So regardless who you put at number 1, and I'm sure most people agree with you because everyone loves the quarterback. He puts up the numbers. God forbid you say defensive player is the best player on the team. Defensive players always have to be the best of the best, like way above all the offensive players, because everyone just loves offensive players because It's so easy to see what an offensive player does because you just look at their numbers. Defensive players can do so much more. Like Ruben Bane's taken pressure off everyone else. Ruben Bane played in a 3-3 stack. As a freshman, he learned it and played it. I mean, it's not that hard for a defensive lineman. But, he played in a 4-man front, a 3-man front. He did all the stuff they asked him to, and he was extremely effective. For a true freshman, that's unheard of. You're comparing him to a fifth-year quarterback who's been amazing. I'm just saying, based on that, you got to give the guy a little bit of a bump up. So I'm putting him at 1A instead of 1B. That's all. I can see the argument, obviously, for Cam Ward being the top guy. I just like to say that Ruben Bane is my top guy. So overall roster, an issue. Top 2 players, outstanding. I still think Miami wins 10 games. I've been saying it, since early last year, right? I mean, people can go back and listen. I said I predicted 8 wins last year. I was off by a knee. And I predicted 8 the year before. That was very low. People were actually mad. Remember I predicted 8 2 years ago, and people were mad at me, like, why is he so negative? What's wrong with him? Like, they were pissed. Like, people were pissed on this channel. They were like posting stuff. I'm so negative, and what's wrong with me? And they won 5. What, they won 5 games, right? And I'm sorry, but that's just I'm not going to lie to people just to make myself not.
You got to trust us, guys. You got to trust us.
But I'm saying that, but I'm saying that because I'm not just saying, like, I'm not just one of these guys who's going to say 10 wins to make people feel good. Like, I honestly think they win 10 games this year. That's why I'm saying 2 years ago I said
without impact talent. That's how soft the schedule is.
It doesn't matter the schedule. I'm predicting 10 wins this year, outside shot of the playoffs this year, and then next year playoffs. Even though next year's schedule is going to be a lot harder, they'll be a much better team a year from now. Like they will be a better team personnel-wise a year from now with a much tougher schedule. This year is going to be interesting because they have not a championship level team at all, in my opinion, but a schedule that's screaming maybe lose 1 or 2 games. And then where do you go with that? Like, are we now the Florida State where if we lose 2 games, we're out of this expanded playoffs? Probably. If we lose 1 game, I think you're in. But I think if they lose 2.
With this schedule, you might want to.
Because their schedule, they can't. Because their schedule, they have to go 12-1, in my opinion, to make the playoffs. I think with 2 losses, given they won't have any real, all they're playing this year is Florida State, and Louisville. Those are the only 3 teams that are like anywhere in the top 25. Period.
And if you can't win 2 of those 3, then
those aren't even that good. Like FSU's going to have a down year. They're not going to win all their games. Louisville's not a national powerhouse, and Florida's a down program that's coming off a horrible season. So even if you win 2 of those 3, if you win everyone else, of course you're in the playoffs. But if that happens, if they go 12-1 in the playoffs, I'll be the guy sitting here like a schmuck, being like, they're not that good. Don't get your hopes up. That'll be me because I will know, based on the horrible teams they're playing, that it's probably a fake 12-1, just like it was a fake 10-0 all those years ago when they lost their last 3 games. So whatever. I'm not getting my hopes up for this year. 10 wins, 9+ wins has to happen just for recruiting and to keep fans off Mario's back and keep NIL money coming in. And by the way, I heard a great take on ESPN yesterday morning, which all the guy did was basically take what I've been saying for the last year and say it out loud on ESPN, which is that NIL, everyone already knows this now, but I've been saying since the beginning, it's unsustainable. And the problem with it is all the money that's been going to programs. And today Miami's having some sort of meet and greet with boosters trying to get more money. But every one of these NIL people that you're hitting up for money in every program, not just Miami, you have to ask them every single year for more money because these players want more and more money, and players will just transfer out and get more money somewhere else if you don't take care of them. And if you're the guy who said, hey, I'm going to contribute $500,000 for Tyler Van Dyke to stay at Miami instead of go to Alabama last year, and then UM comes back to him and it's like, hey, we're doing our NIL collective, or whoever, not UM, but whatever, the NIL people, and like, hey, we need $800,000 this year. Is that kind of like, sorry about Tyler, that didn't work out, but we need even more for a better guy now? Is that guy like, okay, here you go, no problem? Like, that's what has to happen, and not just this year and next year, but the year after and the year after, because there's no stopping this train right now, and everyone's breaking rules right and left. By the letter of the law, if I understand it correctly, you can't even come to an NIL agreement with a transfer until he enrolls. Is that correct, Gary? I believe that's correct. There's not a program in the universe, and I'm including all the planets that are circling us, that anybody does that. It can't be done. It's like saying I want you to eat this hamburger, but not with your mouth. Like it sounds like it's words that make sense, but you can't do it. I mean, you can, but you'd be eating it with something you don't want to eat it with, mainly a feeding tube. I was talking about something else. I don't know where your mind was going, Gary, but I was talking about a feeding tube. So anyway, the bottom line is this whole thing is just so screwed up, and I don't know where it ends, but something has to be done at some point, or the programs that have tons and tons and tons of oil money in Texas or shoe money in Oregon, like those are going to be the programs that are just going to be, within 5 or 10 years, everyone else is going to dry up eventually. Like you need that oil money, you need that. In Miami, what do we have here? Like the cocaine money? Is there still cocaine money here? It's not the 80s anymore. So like, I don't know where the money's coming from Miami, from Mario. I know he knows the Moss brothers and some other guys who I guess have some money. But like at some point, if you don't have that, you're in big, big, big trouble, whether you're in Tuscaloosa or Knoxville or wherever. So, and that's why that part of the ESPN thing was like the BC coach who made 2 bowl games, everything was rolling along, left to take a coordinator job because he didn't want to deal with, basically you're dealing with fundraising for NIL. You're dealing with your team. You're basically a babysitter because that's what you are, right? Because you have a bunch of 17, 18-year-olds through 20, 21-year-olds. I mean, you have to take care of them. There's always problems that nobody hears about, that we hear about. So you're a babysitter, you're a fundraiser, and you're a coach. And you have your own family. Like, it's untenable. And it's why coaches don't want to do this anymore.
It's become brutal. It really has. Yeah. So anyway, that's one of the things you got on the website to look forward to today. We got a bunch of recruiting continued coverage for you. But first, let me tell you that a few things. If you're on YouTube right now and you like the show, like our channel, hit your subscribe and like buttons. It helps us grow our audience on YouTube. If you are not yet a subscriber to CaneSport.com, your subscription means the world to us. We think we will do everything humanly possible to improve your fan experience. And
give some examples. You just say these words. What are we going to do to enhance their fan experience, Gary? Tell me.
Well, for starters, they get to read the sensational analysis that we put out there of the team, and beat them over the head without how challenged the team is. But listen, we would love to have you be part of our community at CaneSport.com.
Listen, if you don't want us, we don't want you. All right, we'd like it.
If he would just be quiet for a minute. You keep talking. I got the offer up on the screen. You can get your first 2 months with us for $1. Use the code CANES1 at CaneSport.com when you sign up, and you'll get your first 2 months for $1. That'll give you a chance to come in and get a little bit of a taste of our site. And we don't think you'll be sorry. We hope you'll be with us for a very, very long time, like so many other Canes fans that we've come to know through the years. All right, so recruiting. You guys know there was a huge weekend last year, endless number. I don't remember the exact count, but a lot of top prospects made their way through campus. We're still catching up with them and bringing you stories. Today, let's see, we got a story with the number 3 overall 2026 prospect. He's Bradenton IMG Academy offensive lineman. No, here you go, Matt. How am I supposed to pronounce his name? Keeney Pape. Okay, I hope I pronounced it right. He tells us about his time on campus and where Miami fits into his thinking. We've got an update with a guy from Tampa Sumner, a team that's loaded next year. Okay, multiple prospects at Tampa Sumner are being recruited by the Hurricanes. Actually, a couple of them are going to be on campus today. They're coming in from Tampa. So a 2025 wide receiver by the name of Tyler Williams and a linebacker by the name of Cameron White. They will be on campus today visiting. We will bring you coverage of that. But their other teammate that Miami is recruiting is an offensive tackle by the name of Zaire Addison, and he was on campus last weekend. He's 6'5", 270 pounds, really impressive looking prospect. We update you on where he stands with Miami. We have an update with 3-star 2025 SMU cornerback commit Javion Holiday. He was on campus last weekend as well. Still remains committed to Rhett Lashley over there at SMU. But it's not because Miami didn't make an impression last weekend. You can read about it in that story. A wide receiver from Texas, Khalid Lockett, he added a Miami offer off of his visit last weekend. He shares his thoughts with us as well. Let's see what else. Mario Cristobal and defense coordinator Lance Guidry made their way to Mississippi by way of helicopter. Man, that Mario helicopter, Matt, is really resonating with people. They love the drama of the coach flying into the high school on the chopper. They were in Mississippi to see 4-star running back Eklund Deer. And we got Deer's feedback off that visit. And needless to say, it was pretty spectacular. And he said his mom only was so smiling so much through the whole visit and seeing the coach come in the helicopter and everything, that all she showed was teeth. He said she was a pretty happy lady just to see the whole recruiting pitch that Miami brought to Mississippi for her son, Eklund Deer. So those are just some of the stories on the website today. Make sure you check those out. We'll also have Hoops Talk later today with Jim Larinaga and players as they get ready to host Virginia Tech over the weekend. Saturday, you got a whole lineup of visitors coming in. Several kids will be passing through campus to watch workouts and get a flavor for the Miami program, including a tight end out of Beaufort, Georgia, by the name of Hayden Bradley, a kid that Miami is all over. They absolutely love him. They're getting him down to campus this weekend, looking to continue making the impression that they have. There's a offensive lineman, defensive lineman camp also this weekend. We're going to try to get to a lot of stuff, a lot of coverage coming your way at CaneSport.com. But that's going to do it for today for this Good Morning CaneSport show. We thank you so much for starting your day out with us. For Matt Shodell, I'm Gary Ferman. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next time, everybody.